Happy Wednesday. It is so wonderful to be here with you again. Now, if you caught me live yesterday, you might be like, Winnie, you look like the same that you looked yesterday. And that's actually not by coincidence. I just want to let you know because today I just finished filming my fourth course with LinkedIn Learning. And so therefore I had to look the same that I did yesterday because we continued filming today. But it is such a treat. I can't wait to share with you my new course that's coming out. I think it's going to go into production, but just because we're amongst friends here, it's really awesome. It's going to be really awesome. If you're interested in getting ahead on your retirement planning, I mean, it's definitely a great one. Now, today is a big day because I haven't seen Greg and I don't know, way too long. And I'm so excited to hear what he has to say about, this week's big Apple event. I purposely actually didn't watch the entire event because I wanted to save and hear from Greg and see what is it that I should be excited about and whether or not I should go and watch it now on replay. But also I want to, of course, be here to keep you on top of relevant business and finance news. And of course, you're part of our show and that's what makes it so fun. We love your positivity. We love your friendship. We so appreciate you being here with us as part of the show. And a big welcome, of course, to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I'm Winnie's son, longtime financial pro, CNBC council member, Forbes contributor, and host of Level Up, which you can also find on NASDAQ and quite a few other platforms. So happy Wednesday to you. But Greg, it's been forever. How are you?
I am doing good. It's so good to see you. It's so good to be back. And by the way, your studio looks amazing. That is awesome. Back in your actual place.
Thank you. I know you haven't seen us in like what?
No.
Since you and I have been doing the show together, we've been filming, or I've been filming from home, but this is where we normally film.
It looks awesome. So congratulations on being back in there. That's really cool.
Just for today. We're going back tomorrow.
Well, at least for a day. But hello everybody too. Thank you so much for joining us today too. It's so good to be back here. I'm Greg Nibbler, longtime tech reporter covering all kinds of things. And as Winnie said, I'll be talking about the Apple event here in just a little bit. So if you have questions, I might be able to answer them. Drop those in. If there's things you're excited about, let us know because this is interactive. We want to hear what you want to hear, what you want to say, what you want to talk about. And it's always great being on here. But I know we have a lot to cover today, including a lot going on in the world of finances, which, Winnie, I've been waiting to hear from you. What's going on with that and what's happening? And I know there's so much. Maybe we should just kick it off right away with that.
Yeah, great, good idea. And that note, I'm coming to you from our corporate headquarters. So I'm really challenging the financial news and business news today. It's like, I feel like it's in the air, it's in the energy. So I've got even more for you today. So let's talk about how the market closed, okay? The Dow closed down 269 points. The NASDAQ closed down 88 points as well. And the S&P 500 also down 44. You would think they would give some positivity. Unfortunately, that ended yesterday. We had some pretty good news earlier this week, but certainly a lot of that was given up today. Now, one bit of news for those of you who have been looking to purchase a home, maybe another home, maybe like that vacation home. Unfortunately, it looks like the demand for mortgages is hitting its 22-year low. So perhaps if you're looking to get a mortgage for the first time, you're going to have no problem getting to your mortgage banker or broker because they're going to have time to talk to you. As interest rates have risen, unfortunately, they are now in the 5.4 area now. It's crazy, right? Just literally a couple months ago, it was still in the 3% range and even lower not that long ago. So higher rates, which also means that this is creating a financial squeeze for a lot of home shoppers. And we're certainly facing record prices on the open market. Properties are still getting more expensive. But for those of you who caught me on the Today Show earlier this week, we also talked about, though, a lot of areas throughout the United States now. Some of the real estate prices in some of the hottest areas of the United States have already started dropping almost to 30%. So if you haven't purchased a home yet, I would say there's still hope. Hold on a little bit, and there might still be some time for you to get a nice property. But before I jump into our next topic, I just want to say a big hello. Hey, Greg, we have so many friends with us. Vicky Garvey, it's amazing to see you on Facebook Live. I know. Can you believe Greg is back? It's such a treat to have Greg back. And of course, Vicky, as you know, because you joined me here yesterday, I am back at headquarters today. So we are shooting on site at our studio. And in fact, I feel like I want to introduce him to you because we're rarely in the same spot together. Curtis, do you want to come and say hello to everyone? He's usually like behind the scenes, and usually he's producing remotely, but actually we're in the same space. So you can say hi, Curtis. That is Curtis Peak. Hello. He is incredible. Incredible doesn't even define it, but that's Curtis. So you want to say hello. All right, but let's segue over, and that is, Greg, we got to talk about Twitter. I know you've seen this craziness with Twitter. Will they or will they not become a marriage of Musk and Twitter and Musk, Elon Musk and Twitter? Do you think this is ever going to happen, Greg?
I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I did see today that Twitter is going to give them access to the Firehose API, which is, I was reading more about that. It's Twitter's basically the back end where if it's as if you were following every single tweet ever posted. So it's just this stream of data, and they're going to give them access to that to try to mitigate some of those concerns he has about how many bots are on there. So maybe that will help this go forward, but it really seems like there's a lot of cogs going on right now in this machine for Musk to get Twitter. Like, I don't know. It kind of seems like he's trying to back out of it, but maybe it's still going to go forward. It's so confusing.
It's so confusing, Greg. I'm really glad to hear your feedback on it, right? I'm glad you gave us a technical, because I was actually thinking, because I guess, like you said, he's looking for information about spam and fake accounts. And then I've been reading on the financial side that, he's sort of put, I guess rumor is it, that he's sort of putting financing on hold, whether or not he's going to get the $44 billion funds available. They're saying that he might be pulling out, but who really knows? What I think is really interesting about this sort of saga, if you will, Greg, is it seems like Elon Musk today is such a different Elon Musk that we've been talking about, like, just a couple of years ago. I mean, it seems like today's Elon Musk, has political opinions, right? Has technical opinions, has HR opinions. It just seems like he's sort of going into a lot of different lanes here. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's interesting. It's always interesting to see, like, executives and their full spectrum of thought leadership and the opinions that he has. But I'll just say it's very interesting.
Interesting is a good way to put it. I mean, I think for somebody who's trying to take over one of the biggest social media platforms, in the world, to have this, like, such a hardcore, like, public political leaning now, to where he's leaning, either way, really, but especially since now he's leaning to the right and then taking over that, I think that's a little bit concerning. Like, what does that mean? What's that going to mean in the long run? I know he talks about free speech, but then he's also railing against different people and posting his weird memes. So it just seems, I mean, I don't know. It seems like he should be acting just a little bit different if you're getting ready to take that over, because that's a lot of responsibility, but also he's the richest man in the world. So I guess he can technically do whatever he wants, but you know, and we got to say, I mean, the guy's a genius. I mean, I drove in one of his Teslas here to the office to work today. And I got to say, it's by far the best vehicle I've ever driven in my whole life. So credit where credit is due. The guy is a genius. So, but I will just say the comments lately, very, very interesting. And then so Sadiq has just joined us. I see him joining us from on YouTube Live as well. Those of you who are joining us live, we are absolutely live. We would love to see your comments. Definitely come in, jump in, tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us what you think about Elon Musk, whether or not you think this Twitter saga is going to continue. Is it going to be a marriage? Is it going to come together? Do you think Elon is going to go a whole different direction altogether? Is he going to forfeit the purchase? And with that, I think the rumor is that if he forfeits, I think he loses like $1 billion, right? Is it $1 billion or $1 million? I think it's a significant number. I think it was $1 billion. That's what I've read as well. Which, I mean, even for a multi-billionaire, that's still $1 billion. Although he can afford it, but that's a lot of money. $1 billion.
$1 billion. That's a lot for sure. That's Greg said. All right. So the next bit of news, Greg, I feel like, I think you're going to like this. I feel like it's all coming from me being in this space today. I have something that I'm so excited to share with all of you. And this is coming out of our friends at Taco Bell. For those of you who don't know about Taco Bell, let me just say, so I'm in Southern California, about 15, 20 miles from Disneyland. And believe it or not, Taco Bell's headquarters are in our corporate offices city, if you will. Taco Bell's actually not that far. But here's something that I absolutely love. So Taco Bell is releasing this new thing called Taco Bell DeFi. You need to check this out. This is the coolest thing. So what you can do now is you would order on your mobile app your Taco Bell item, tacos, burritos, nachos, whatever. They scan your QR code and boom, your food comes delivered, and you just open it and you get it and you eat it in your car. And now Taco Bell, this actually Taco Bell location is pretty cool. They have 4 lanes for drive-through. And so one of them has an attendee. The rest of them actually, there's no person there, but you can scan your QR code, you can get your food. So basically the concept is you would order on your app ahead of time, and then you would just pull up and get your food. Now, I don't know about you, but I absolutely, just blows my mind. I love it. It's so brilliant. And I'm thinking, why don't more places do this? How do you feel about this, Greg?
I mean, I agree. I think it's brilliant. I think it's awesome. I want to try it. It's also way too convenient for me. I wouldn't like the fact that it's that convenient. Okay, Minnesota, that's where this is. Yeah, because that just makes it way too easy to just be like, well, it's right there. I don't want to wait in line. Well, you don't have to wait in line. You can get it instantly. So that's dangerous for me personally, but I like the tech. I like how they're doing it. That still looks pretty cool. And yeah, if you're going to do it, to not have to wait in line, that's awesome.
Not have to wait in line. And just think about it. How many times have you pulled them to a drive-thru and you're saying your order like, what? And what? And then you have to repeat your order, and half the time it isn't right, and this is just so efficient. And then maybe somebody in front of you is ordering like enough for a small army. This is just, I just think I'm a total fan of efficiency. This thing blows my mind. I want to hear from Sadiq. I want to hear from Vicky. Everybody who's joining us live right now, tell me what you think about this Taco Bell thing. Because imagine if this was at the post office. You can order what you need, postage, whatever, and this was at the post office. Imagine going to get groceries, and then you could get something like that. I mean, for me, Greg, I'm a big fan of dumplings, right? Imagine if you could do this and order dumplings on the go. That Kerr's nodding right now. I'm just saying, this technology I absolutely love, and I think it will really make things a lot faster. Imagine if they had this at the airport, Greg. You order after TSA line, you go to a little thing and it opens up, you scan, you get your food. That's bananas. But
I'm all for that. I'm definitely all for that. Anything to get rid of lines. Like, lines are one of my least favorite things to have to wait in. So I'm all for anything that makes it faster. Just less interaction. Just get it done.
Yes. And it's super cute too, by the way. I think the little elevator is super cute. But I guess, what if it gets stuck? I think that would be kind of an annoying thing. But I'm guessing they've got this thing planned out. But I also think it's going to have to be in certain areas, because I think certain areas, I'm sure where you're at and here in Southern California too, there's not a lot of real estate where you could have 4 drive-through lanes. But maybe they can figure out a way around that. I still think even if you could have even if you had 1 lane or 2 lanes, just imagine the efficiency. Plus, from Taco Bell's standpoint, you're really not risking much, right? Because you're already paying on the app. So there's no way you're actually not going to get paid for the item. And it helps you with your, which I think a big issue that companies are working on, which is there's supply chain issues, but also a tightening employment market, right? So a lot of people are losing really quality employees, and this way you can be much more efficient in how you hire as well. So cool. So that was one thing. The other thing I want to share with you before we jump over to Greg is this. So in financial news also, you may have heard recently Target announced, remember how we were talking about those major supply chain issues for the longest time, right? Now, Target's actually having sort of a reverse. So I want to put this on your radar. So Target has announced they're actually having too much inventory in certain areas. So they're actually starting to slash prices on a lot of things that they have excess. So we're talking about pandemic supplies. We're talking about furniture, right? Home improvement, that type of stuff. So actually, if you take a look, definitely pay attention. If you need things for the house or you need things for the pandemic, do know Target is now being stuck with a lot of stuff that they thought they would be able to sell, and they weren't. So huge discounts. And I think this is going to trickle down to other retailers as well. But it's really interesting because it wasn't that long ago when they were telling us that they didn't have things and things were getting more expensive. So we'll see how that goes. Have you heard that too, Greg?
No, that's actually really interesting because home improvement stuff I'm always looking for. So now I kind of want to check it out. Is it on the website, or you'd have to go to the locations and look for it?
Well, so I would recommend, if you're doing this, I would recommend going to slickdeals.net, I think it is. So I like to go there and then just type in Target on the top, or type in Walmart. And then you'll have other people who are like really crazy online shoppers actually source the deals for you. So they'll spend the time on the internet, find the best deal, and post about them as a deal alert. And I like to do it that way because I know you and I, we don't have time to sit in front of, Target's website scrolling every single item.
Right.
But yeah, they definitely, a lot of the items are online. And what's nice about a lot of these companies now is you can order ahead, which I strongly recommend you order ahead, because when you order ahead, you save money. You can use a shopping portal, order ahead, pay, so that way you can use whatever payment plan you want, and then just set it up for either pickup or curbside pickup, whichever you prefer. And also by doing that, you don't do impulse shopping, because as we know, places like Target, which are like the candy land of adults, it's really easy to come out with something you don't need. So I recommend very strategic online shopping if you have to. But
that is a great idea. Yeah, smart thinking too. I need to do that because I get a Home Depot or Lowe's a lot, and that's where I end up buying things I don't need. But I'm like, oh, that's cool and shiny and new, and might as well just throw that in there too. And I don't need it, so this is a good idea.
And a great place for shopping portals, Home Depot and Lowe's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be checking that out. Awesome. Great advice.
Okay, Greg. I don't know. I always thought that we need to give you a drum roll because it was that big. You have so much to share with us today. I can't wait to hear from you today.
There is a lot. So I kind of boiled down a lot of what was said. So for anybody who doesn't know, Apple had their worldwide developer conference. Actually, it's still going on, but they had their keynote speech here earlier this week on Monday, and they announced a lot of things. So this conference is really designed overall. It's a whole bunch of different sessions for people who develop for Apple platforms, whether it's an iPhone, or laptops, whatever kind of platform it is, and hardware developers too. But that's what this is all about. But they always have the keynote and announce things for more people like us to take a look at what's going to be coming out. So these aren't necessarily things that you get right away, but they're on the way, and they're going to be updates to, if you have any Apple device, there was an update for you. There's something for you in this. So I kind of like went through and picked out some of the highlights. It was a 2-hour event. 2 hours, maybe even over 2 hours. So there's a lot in there. So you can dig into anything, but I picked some highlights to start off with. So I figured for the beginning, let's talk about iPhones and the iOS software. That's your operating system. So they announced some of the things that are going to be coming out in iOS 16. I think right now we're on iOS 15.5. So 16 is going to be coming out later, but these are some of the things you're going to be able to do. And here's an example right here. This is for iMessages, which they have now, when this update comes out, you're now going to be able to edit your message or delete it within 15 minutes of sending it.
Yes.
So they're adding in an edit button, which I think is pretty cool. It's also kind of interesting to have that in there because some people may not want there to be an edit button, but that is what it's going to be. So you'll have 15 minutes once you send something. You can change it up or delete it, but after 15 minutes, then it's there. You can't change it again. So I like the time limit on it. If you've ever sent something with typos, or if you've sent something that maybe you regret sending,
like that. Hey,
this
babe.
would be perhaps late at night after a few cocktails. But this would be a way to delete that if you catch it within 15 minutes. After that, you're out of luck. But that's one of the big ones. And I'm curious, Winnie, you are an Apple aficionado. What do you think about this?
I absolutely love this, Greg. I've done this in the past. Actually, just did it last week where I texted a friend something I thought I was texting to my husband, which, luckily everything was okay, but that certainly wasn't the most convenient text. So I love this. And I'm actually thinking, I'm looking at you, Twitter. Can you do this? Because we really need this.
Yes, Twitter. Exactly. Twitter needs it. Twitter needs it just because my thumbs always misspell things, and then you got to delete it and repo. Yeah, it's so annoying. So this is one of the big updates. So I think that's a cool one. It's not quite there for SMS texting, for regular texting yet, but it's, I'm sure, not too far off for that. I don't know if they'd have to work with Android for that side of things, but yeah. So big update right there. Some of the other things that they had for iOS, there's a lot of them. So I just kind of picked one other one to talk about. It's the idea of customization. So Apple's really going all in on that, even more so than they have before. So one of the things is for a lock screen, like the lock screen on your phone, you're now going to be able to, one, you can cut out pictures really easily for it, but then you can customize everything on it. So you can take it, you can get customized fonts, widgets, color schemes, all kinds of things to really change it up. It's almost like an Instagram filter that goes on there. And then you can then again, add in all these other things that you might possibly want. So it's just personalizing it, making it more your own. And I like that, having more options. Is that something that everybody needs? I don't know.
Yes.
But I mean, it's yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, indeed.
You need this.
It's needed. Well, it's going to be there for you now. I like the widget aspect. That's really cool to be able to put some different widgets on there. Whatever it is that you really go to a lot, just have your temperature, whatever it is, their weather, or I'm sure there's lots of other things you can put on there, but that's pretty cool. Customization.
You can share these images on social, right? Now it's just for the phone.
Right? Yeah, that's just for the phone.
Oh, it's just for the phone. You can't use it for. Oh,
I suppose you could probably take a screen cap of it and use it, but this is for your actual phone. So the lock screen on your phone. There's one example. There's other examples too for more customization options, but this was the one that they were really highlighting. Is that so? Just more stylization, really.
Because I see a lot of people after the Apple event. I saw a lot of people talking about this on Twitter, Greg.
Yeah.
And cutting out and doing different tricks and things like that. And so I thought it was something. I'm going to wait to hear the rest of your presentation because I think it's coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's definitely one of the big ones was that for iOS. So one of the ones at least that people are talking about. The other part of that too was just how they can cut out the photos. So that part was pretty neat. The software is able to just completely, lift somebody out of a photo and then you can put it on to anything you want. So that's just more speedy use of AI to photo edit, which that part's pretty cool too. And there's a lot more things that are going to be coming out with iOS 16, but those were two of the big ones that they were highlighting. And again, so much that you can dig into on it, but that's kind of a couple of the big ones there for iOS for the iPhone. So going from there, because there's so much, I want to make sure that we get through everything. Let me take a look at my list here. We've covered so many things. Okay. Next one. This is something that you're not going to be able to do for maybe till later in 2023, but it's an expansion of Apple CarPlay. So Apple CarPlay right now is pretty handy for a lot of people. A lot of people use it with their phones, hook into your infotainment system in your car. Now they want to add it to completely take over everything. So your instrument panel, your controls internally for the car, to where you would have Apple running all of that and being the interface system. Meaning, again, you can customize it to whatever you want, however you want, customized speedometer or customized, fuel sensors, all kinds of things. And you can see right there. So this is a trend in car manufacturing right now anyway, is turning your entire dashboard into a panel. I mean, as you have a Tesla, so I'm sure you're used to some of this already, but this is like expanding upon that and really changing up how we interact with our vehicles. And that's what they want to do with CarPlay. So they're working with a whole bunch. It's a whole list of vehicle manufacturers, and because they have to build this in.
Is Elon going to allow this to happen? That would be interesting.
I didn't see Tesla on that list, so I don't know. I don't know if yeah, maybe, but I did notice. Yeah, I don't believe they were on that list, but everybody else.
Excited about the AI technology. I see Vicky's comments coming in.
Yeah.
Sadiq, what'd you think? Sadiq, you like this?
Yeah, really curious what people think about that. If this is something you want, is it going to be distracting? I kind of like the idea of just adding more bells and whistles in there, but that's me. I also like that kind of stuff. So is this something that everybody's going to want? And definitely, having, that's okay. Sadiq saying Turkish Tog electric car has full dash display already. Yeah, there's a couple of cars out there that have these, that have already have the full dash. So more and more are going to be doing that, but it's just having Apple be in control of it. And I think this is a good idea overall because let's be honest, car manufacturers are never going to be the complete experts in software. And you have somebody like Apple, you can imagine that Google's going to be doing this too for Android, and just adding that in and having the experts take that over, as long as they're working with the car manufacturers to make sure everything's functional and safe. I think it's pretty cool. I like adding in anything you can add to, to customize it, to make it your own. And you can change it up too. So you get bored. Now let's go for a different theme today. That's pretty fun.
I agree with you. I think, I think there's a lot of cars that we've driven through the years that we all love, right? That performance wise were there and whatnot. But then I remember when my business partner first told me, he's like, Winnie, you got to look at the Tesla. I think you should get it, because he's like, the technology is amazing. And that's true, because when you compare the technology aspect of what they brought in Tesla, a lot of vehicles are still behind. So I love the idea, because Apple's technology obviously is, primo there. And you bring that coupled in with, like, let's say, a really great performance vehicle, that could be a leveling playing field for a lot of drivers. I think a lot of drivers would like that. And then how cool to also bring like your Apple playlist and everything else. And then you could from a financial standpoint, I love it, because then you can monitor your mileage and how much you're spending, and then, do all those other smart tools. I think this is just the beginning. Very cool.
Yeah. I think it's just the beginning. I agree completely. But later in 2023, that's when they're estimating these will start rolling out. So you're going to see this more and more over the coming years, of just that idea of customizing everything and having that complete screen there. So pretty cool. I thought that was a really good for Apple. And once again, it's Apple, so it means they're getting in every little part of your life for that Apple ecosystem. So
does that mean, Greg, that you're getting an Apple?
I mean, there are some pretty cool things that did come out from this. I'll say I'm not ready to completely switch, but
Vicky,
it's getting closer.
What do we got to do?
I want to, September, that's going to be the big one. When we see what the new iPhone is going to look like and how that's going to work.
We're close to getting Greg to convert.
You're getting me close on the laptops, I'll tell you that. Because my Microsoft one just crashed right before we went on air. So I'm just going to put that out there. But so I'm getting close there. And I do have some laptop news we'll get to here in a minute too. All right. So we've got iOS 16, Apple CarPlay. What's the next one on here? Apple Watch OS update. So let's go to that, to the Apple Watches. And this is going to be Watch OS 9. So the 9th iteration of their software. And there's some pretty cool things that they have going on there. They've got a bunch for working out that are making it more of like making it more friendly for runners. What's that?
No, I'm sorry.
You're making fun of me in the background. Now that you and Curtis are both there, now I know that you're both making fun of me, my Apple stuff.
I said it looks like me right there.
Oh, that's that you do almost have the same outfit going on. That's true. All right. You're making me laugh. Okay, so let's talk about Apple Watches. Okay, Apple Watch OS. So as you can see right there, they're doing some updates for the medical side of things, which I always like that kind of thing. So any update for medical software, and this is to keep track of your pills. So you kind of imagine that this is for anybody who has to take multiple medications, but specifically, I think they're kind of targeting.
This is very handy.
Yeah, and especially for maybe elderly people who might forget to take their medication. So this keeps track of it, and it lets you know that they send a notification, and you either say accept that you did it, or you say skip. But then you can take all that data and share it with your doctor or a family member, and then they can kind of monitor, be like, well, look, you missed your pills for like 5 days straight. This is why you're not feeling good right now, or this is why this isn't working. And then they can kind of tailor things with that and monitor also that, you could think with even like your sleep cycles or other health information that they get. So it's just giving you a better overall picture of your medical health. Super. So I kind of like that.
That's great. Cool. Especially I think, I definitely think that many of us can agree that sometimes we just forget, right? We take our vitamins, we make medication. And certainly think for, as our parents or seniors, it's easy to forget what you need to take. So I think this is great. It tracks it. And also then you can give the data over to your health professionals if they need to tweak.
Yep. Exactly. So that's part of the update. There's other parts, for more, again, customizing things, however you want it to be customized and tying more into iPhone. But they're really pushing too for runners in particular. They had a bunch of things that were updated for that I guess runners weren't very excited about before. They were going more towards Fitbit or maybe a Galaxy Watch or something more tailored to running. And now they're adding that in. There's some pretty cool features that they added on here. You can check your vertical oscillation, your stride length, your ground contact time. So all kinds of data points that if you're really into running or you're monitoring, some different issues that you might be having. So those kind of data points could be pretty helpful. So that's kind of a cool update as well. Do you have an Apple Watch? Right there.
I do. I love it.
Yeah. Well, these are the updates that you'll be getting for that. So these will come out probably September, probably at the same time.
Yeah. So I guess that's when you're going to get yours, right, Greg?
The Apple Watch, it is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. The Apple Watch is pretty cool.
See what we did?
But I feel like if you go one, then you have to go all, and that's why it's a big commitment. Because if I get the Apple Watch, you gotta have an iPhone and then Carplay.
I'm getting my son one. Yeah.
What's that?
I'm getting my son one. Actually, I'm sending, he go back. My son, my oldest is 13. He's going to head back to school, and given all the crazy stuff that we've been seeing, with schools and whatnot. So I feel more comfortable. So I'm getting him an Apple Watch, and I'm going to get cellular service just on the watch because he doesn't have his phone yet. He doesn't have a phone. So, I'll just pay the $10 a month. And that way, in case of an emergency, we can reach him. He can call us. He can text us. And he's in his school as his two younger siblings. So it just gives us peace of mind. So, I love I guess I love the smart technology. I think they're doing a good job thinking of ways to make our life a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely are. So that's some improvements too, and they played catch up a little bit on some of the other aspects. So they're really making an overall pretty impressive thing to kind of cover all the bases. So to tackle both the health side of things and the convenience side of things and everything. So that's a lot there with Watch OS 9. So again, you can dig in deeper on all of that, but there's so much. I wanted to just hit the highlights, and we did have some hardware that came out. So the hardware side of things, we got actually 3 laptops, I believe, that came out for this, but there's 2 that I wanted to highlight because they brought out the new M2 chip. So M1 chip was Apple's go of completely making their own processing chips for their all of everything. They're doing it for their phones, but particularly for their laptops. So they're doing it all in-house. The M1 was really successful, is really successful. The M2 seems like it's going to be even better, which stands to reason, which makes sense. So we've got 2 laptops for this. One is a new MacBook Air with the M2 chip. So they're really highlighting this. And I know a lot of people love the Airs because of how light and small they are, but it's also going to be pretty powerful. And there's a lot that you're going to be able to do. It's got a 1080p HD camera, so they changed that up. They brought back the MagSafe charging, which I know a lot of people love the MagSafe charging. The display is really good. They're highlighting different things you can do with it as far as gaming. So it's a pretty cool laptop, honestly. This MacBook Air and as they're showing there, cross-platform or cross-device rather with your iPhone, patching right into it. It's really robust. So I think for anybody who's looking for that level of laptop, this is going to be a pretty cool one. And I think it starts at $11.99, which, it's not the cheapest one out there, but that's still not terrible for everything that you're getting with that. Yeah, 4 speakers on it, so the audio is really good. So that's pretty cool. So for the people who wanted hardware, you've got that one right there.
Well,
now the other. Yeah,
Greg, can I ask you real quick? I see Vicky sharing, and she says, "Nice for gaming." Would the Air be a good one for gaming?
Well, see, and that's the thing with Apple. They're never really, you don't really think of Apple for gaming that much, but they're really making a push into that and showcasing some of the things they can do with these. Now, for the new Apple MacBook Pro, that one, you probably have enough power in there to be doing some actual online gaming with that. So let me give you some of the stats on this. So I've got them here in front of me. For the MacBook Pro, you can get up to 24 gigs of memory, which is crazy. So your speed is going to be really great on that. It's got ProRes acceleration, up to 20 hours of battery life.
Wow.
Which is great on that. And this is all with that M2 processor. So it's all with the M2 that's giving it all of that stuff. looks wise, it's kind of about the same. It doesn't look a whole lot different, but the power is pretty great. And that one starts at $12.99. I don't think you're getting the 24 gigs of memory for that. I don't believe that's going to start out with that, but yeah, it's this is the one. I will say this is the one out of all these things that would probably get me to go over to Apple. This MacBook Pro right here. That's my gateway, I think, into the world of Apple. It would be this MacBook Pro because it looks pretty cool.
No sales tax, Greg. Portland.
It's true. That's true. No sales tax up here. So yeah. So you got that. It's again starting at $12.99, and then you can always make that more expensive if you want to, adding on more things. But pretty cool. For those who are fans of the MacBook line, I think you're really gonna like this. Sadiq, repeat the price. So yeah, it's $12.99, I believe, starting out. There it is. Yeah, thanks. Curtis has got it. $12.99 for the 8-core. That's 8 gigs of memory. What does it go up to for the 24 gigs? I don't know if they actually say on there. I'm sure you're getting into a couple thousand or plus range, but that's how it always is when you want to start adding on.
Is this for sale already, Greg?
This, I believe, is pre-sale right now. I don't think they're actually out yet, and they're a little bit worried. $24.99. Okay, that's still not bad. I mean, that's really expensive, but if you're using it for heavy video editing, 2 terabytes of storage and 24 gigs, that's not crazy.
Curtis is nodding right now. I'm seeing a strong nod.
I brought the touch bar back with this one too. If you can hear me.
I couldn't hear what Curtis said.
I can't hear.
Oh, they brought back the touch bar.
They brought.
They brought back the touch bar. Yes, they did. Which that is, I've used the MacBooks with the touch bar before. I haven't had a lot of use cases, but I guess for the quick cuts for editing, in Adobe products and things like that, that would actually be pretty beneficial. But yeah, they brought it back because it didn't have a lot of fanfare when it originally came out.
I like it for the emojis. I'm just gonna say
that's for the emojis.
That's the only thing I use it for. I do find it to be a quick key for my emojis.
There you go. That's why they brought it back. Everybody wanted their quick emoji keys. But yeah, it's back on there. So if you were a fan, it's right there for you. But now, so many things coming up. That was about it for the hardware side of things. So I did think that was kind of cool that they did at least put out some new hardware, and it's mainly to show off that M2 chip. I have been reading that there could be some delays on some of these, depending on just manufacturing issues. A lot of it having to do with a lot of areas in China shutting down again because of COVID. So I don't know how long you're going to have to wait if you're ordering one of these, but there it is. These are the new ones. This is the top of the line, which might also make the M1s maybe drop in price a little bit at some point.
Love our emojis. I see you.
All for the emojis. So those are the highlights that I found out of this, but there's so much more that people can dig into. Again, it's a 2-hour presentation, so you can watch the entire thing or take a look at highlights or just kind of read up on what you want to read up on.
But we got the Greg lights. We got the Greg lights, and that's all I need is the Greg lights.
These are the ones that I liked, that I thought were cool. And so it's always exciting though, getting to see what the future stuff's going to look like. So most of that stuff you're not going to get until most likely September. It's going to come out when they unveil the new iPhone, which is always a September event. That's when all these updates will finally go through, unless you want to sign up for some of the developer side of things. Some of that costs, some of it's free. You might be able to get a preview of some of these updates beforehand. So you might want to look into that if you really want to try them out. But they aren't the official ones until September. So there we go. Apple event, WWDC.
Amazing.
So much stuff,
Greg. It was worth it. It was worth the wait.
Well, it's so much. That's why I even have to go off my notes, because I'm like, wait, which one was this? What was the memory on this one? Like, there's so much information that comes out on that. I will say the presentations, anyone that goes over an hour and 20 minutes, it starts to kind of drag on a little bit, but that's why I watch it. So you don't have to watch the entire thing.
Yes. Thank you. And we appreciate you doing that. We appreciate that you do that. But if you're watching, maybe speed it up a little bit, But we love it. We should call hashtag Greg Lights for those of you.
Greg Lights. I love it.
Yeah. We enjoyed
the Greg Lights
quite a bit. That was really, really helpful. But don't worry, I'm still seeing like when Greg is going to go over to the Apple site. I know Sadiq is a little worried about that. But
it's that MacBook Pro.
It's going to happen.
It's that MacBook Pro. I think that's the one That's the one that could get me, because if I have any more issues with the laptop I'm on right now, I think I'm gonna have to do it. That might get me over there.
Vicky did it. Greg lights. I see it.
Nice. Hashtag Greg Lights. Awesome. Well, yeah. So that's what I've got for this week. That's everything.
Can we
that I've
talk a
covered.
bit though, but about your trip though? Because I feel like I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen you so long. How was it? How
We
did
haven't
you
talked about that.
enjoy our state here?
Yeah, I went down to actually Palm Springs a couple of weeks ago, and Winnie gave me some great advice on where to go. I've never been to Palm Springs, so that was interesting in its own right. It's hot. It was very hot, but not too bad because it wasn't like muggy or anything. It was just hot, but I was by a pool, so I can't complain. It was pretty good. But I did go to Joshua Tree, which my first time going to Joshua Tree, amazing, so amazing. Going in there and checking all that out and seeing some of those things. Yeah, here's some of the pictures that I had. Yeah, so cool. Just these crazy rock formations and that desert landscape that just seems like you're not even on Earth anymore. Just amazing, amazing stuff. So yeah, I had a great time down there.
Isn't it one of the most beautiful places? I feel like it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. Like if you haven't been, it's hard to explain because people think, oh, it's just a desert. It's not. It's so much more than that.
It is not just a desert. Yeah, and just reading, all the stuff about it, just how much life is down there. Saw a lot of lizards, running around. Yeah, just the history of it and what it means. I mean, it is I cannot recommend it enough. Going there, how magical it is. So
Maybe
that was really cool.
Now though, because it's really hot right now. But
it's really hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I take that back. The day that I was there, it wasn't that bad.
That's because you brought the cool weather, Greg. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, it was maybe hot for me because I'm from Oregon, but it wasn't too. I think it was like 80s when I was there.
I think it's probably at least in the 90s right now.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it was over 100 at one point.
Because I know, Greg, you're a big camper, so you definitely have to camp one day. Because one of the things that we've done is we've actually stayed after it's gone dark. Like, we stayed there with the kids after it went dark, and we sort of just waited. But they have these super cute little tiny, what they call kangaroo mice. And I know we're thinking mice and rats are kind of scary, but this is not. Literally, it's one of the cutest things you'll ever see. And they come out in the evening when it's nice and cool. And they will, like, you can just drop crackers or whatever. They're the cutest things. So Greg, you went by the dinosaurs as well. This is like really close to Palm Springs.
Yeah. It was about like maybe 15, 20 minutes, something like that.
There's fast food restaurants right there. The gas station.
Yeah. And I just know them because it's from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That they're in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So this was pretty cool to get to go see those, and you can go in them too. So these are these giant, So in case anybody doesn't know where these are, they're off the side of the road on the freeway, kind of coming into Palm Springs ish. But they're these huge dinosaurs. So that one right there, the T-Rex, it's kind of a little like you have to pay to go into that one. There's a little park in there. Seems like it's kind of aimed more towards kids. So we didn't end up going in there, but that one, there's actually a store inside the Brontosaurus that you can, nice. I forgot I put that up. So there's in the pink one, there's actually a store in there. So that's where the gift shop is. So you actually go up into the Brontosaurus, which is pretty cool. It was a highlight for me. Maybe not for everybody, but I was pretty excited.
You're geeking out, Greg.
I was totally geeking out.
We love it.
And I did watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure the night before we went there. I'm gonna admit it. So it added to it.
This is a cool place. Actually, I see you went on a day where it wasn't so crazy crowded, because usually this place is crowded. Sometimes we'll go with our friends and we'll actually meet them here because obviously it's an easy place because of the dinosaurs, and the kids like to get out and sort of run around. But usually this place is packed. So it looks like you definitely went on the right day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was hardly anybody. I mean, there was a few people, but not bad. So we must have hit it at the right moment. So did that. I was going to take the tram. The tram was too crowded. So there's a tram that'll take you up to the top of the mountain there in Palm Springs. I went up there. It was like a 90-minute wait, and there was way too many people. So decided not to do that. But, and then got to go to another friend's house who lives on a resort there in town. So that was a pretty great view to be sitting back barbecuing and watching that. Yeah, that was pretty nice. It was really windy though. Very, very windy. But still amazing. Just a great time. Yeah. Check out that wind. Yeah,
That
it was
was
nuts.
really windy.
Yeah, things were blowing up. My hat blew away. Yeah, it was it was a whole to do.
When
But
it's
it's
not moving, it looks so pretty.
right. Yeah, I know. When you just said just pause, great.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it was super windy. But it was
Looking at
cool.
the wind, I'm like, I'll sit in the car.
Well, and you can see all the dust too, dust and sand or whatever being blown up there in the background, because it was like a actual dust storm like going through there, which I haven't really experienced before. So that was interesting. And then I just went back and got in the pool. So then it was fine.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, great trip. Great quick trip down there. And thank you so much for all the recommendations.
Oh, well, no, thank you. I'm so glad you're able to enjoy yourself. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it took this long, but we're super excited to have you back. And I'm glad we could bring the show back. And I guess we're back to our regular time because,
Yeah.
it's not the same. But it's so much fun to have all of you join us. I know Greg and I are really excited about coming back today to see all
Yes.
of you. Yeah.
Yes.
So do let us know, like Vicky, Siddiq, everybody, let us know what you have. Have you been to Joshua Tree? Have you checked it out before? And if you haven't, definitely put this on your radar. I actually think, to be honest with you, for California, I actually feel like Joshua Tree is my number one national park over
Really?
Yosemite, believe it or not. I like Yosemite, but I like Joshua Tree a little bit more.
I haven't been to Yosemite, so I can't compare the two, but this is, it's just so unique, Joshua Tree. Definitely the most unique national park that I've been to as far as, Joshua trees really only grow there, right? It's only in that kind of region right there. So it's just such a landscape that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will definitely be going back there, and I will be camping there at some point.
You should. Did you see the campgrounds? Because they're
Yeah.
really cool. It's like to give you an idea for those of you who haven't been to Joshua Tree before, camping at Joshua Tree is kind of a fancy experience. It almost looks like a Fred Flintstone experience because, I guess you get to camp right next to rocks, and a lot of the campgrounds, they have designed where you can have your own little plot, and they're marked by rocks. It really looks like you're living in a Fred Flintstone place. I've never camped there, but we've driven through the campground several times because I always get a kick out at how nice they look.
Yeah, that's what I was checking out too. I just wanted to see what they look like. So we drove through and kind of hopped out for a minute and took a look at them. You're near other people, but you also get to camp in the national park. So that's a trade-off I'm willing to accept. And I definitely want to go back out there just to see it at night too, to see all the stars that I'm sure you can see there. I bet it's just incredible.
So next time you come, you have to drive to Anza Borrego too, because that's not that far, and that place is amazing as well.
Yes, that was on the list. We just ran out of time to get there because I didn't get to the Salton Sea either. So there's plenty of things that I need to come back and do. I need to get back there for.
Well, the state's always here for you, Greg.
Yes, it is. I'll be down there at some point, and maybe I'll get to check out your studio when I come down too.
Yeah, it'd be really, really cool. Well, awesome. Greg, anything else that we missed? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. There's a lot going on this week, but that's why I'm asking everybody else too, because I've been focusing on Apple so much. What else has been happening? Please send me a message. Let me know if there's cool things that I've missed this week, because I've been focusing on that. I would love to hear about it. And, thank you to everybody who reaches out, who messages, who tags us in things and just watches the show, joins in it. We really did miss hanging out with all of you. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. This is awesome.
And thank you so much. And then we will see you again next week then.
Yeah. Bye.